Hey, welcome to the Carty Method podcast. Today, we are trying something brand new, and I'm very excited for you to be a part of it. For the first time ever, I'm going to be sitting down with one of the incredible photographers in my Accelerator program. His name is Nick Johnson. He is from Eugene, Oregon. Now, Nick came to me frustrated. He was stuck in his career, but you're about to hear firsthand in just a few months how he went from struggling to thriving, landing clients, refining his style, and completely transforming his business. So here's the plan. We're going to break down exactly what's worked for Nick, the breakthrough that he's had, and how my professional accelerator has helped him get there. And also, Nick is also in my one-on-one mentorship program. Nick is in 2 of my programs. I want you to listen closely because what you're about to hear are actionable steps that could change the course of your photography career. By the end of this interview today, you're going to know what's possible when you take the leap, invest in yourself, follow a proven path, and turn your passion into a profitable business. You're not going to want to miss this one, by the way. So we are here with the one and only Nick Johnson. Nick, let's go. Welcome.
Hey man, how you doing?
Thanks for hanging out with us today. So, my God,
yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. So, please share with me how you first found me and what initially drew you to this whole thing that I'm doing here with the Carty Method. Can you talk about that for a second, Nick? Do you mind?
Yeah, well, as I'm sure a lot of your viewers do, I've always, I've been a photographer for many, a couple decades, like yourself, I've consumed a ton of photography content on YouTube and everything, and so one day you came up in my feed, and as you said, I've had kind of as of late, a somewhat frustrating corporate career that I've been in for about 16 years as what I would call a distraction from my passion, right? And I heard you saying a lot of the same things that resonated with me as somebody who has had a lot of history coaching employees to success and things like that in my corporate career. And so it stuck, and I kept watching, kept listening. My wife kept telling me, as she watched you with me, she kept telling me, yeah, man, he's got some good points. And I'm like, yeah, it's good. And by the time I finally got to the point where, I need to make this change, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. And so realizing that really the only way to accelerate that kind of growth is to bring on a consultant, if you will, some sort of professional advisor. And I thought I'd give you a try, and it's been a great experience.
Amazing, Nick. Thank you for that. So before you joined, tell me what the main challenges or frustrations that you were facing in your photography career. What were you dealing with back then?
So, I took a bit of a stylistic shift as I came from a background in fashion and mostly commercial fashion and beauty. And I did some event production and stuff back in the days. And around the time my wife and I started having kids, that golden handcuffs, they say, of the corporate career, really kind of took over. And I always intended to go back to photography, but, that took a wayside. Right. So, with that, I kept doing photography on the side, but I think my style kind of strayed a little bit from where my passion really was, and found it kind of difficult to kind of re-engineer what I did to meet a more commercial demand. And outreach has always been a problem for me. So your methods for really kind of communicating value and communicating something to my potential clients, reaching that ideal target client, has been really valuable.
Amazing. So I want to look at some work in a bit, but I just love getting these answers from you. And also, I think it's helpful for the people who are watching, just because you're one of the people who are in my accelerator that you quickly became a leader. So again, when you first started with my accelerator, how did it feel? Mm-hmm. What were some of your first breakthroughs? Talk about that. What was the vibe when you first when you first joined us?
Yeah. Yeah, well, like you said, I've had some one-on-one time with you in the past, and that's been really helpful because we've been able to really deep dive and break down some individual things for me. But the thing that caught me about, thinking I also want to join the accelerator, is that there's a incredible structure there, and it really starts off with the foundation, lays the groundwork for really figuring out who you are. Help me even at this stage, help me figure out who I was as a photographer and who I want to be, and then draw the roadmap to get there. So that's been the biggest benefit to me, as well as the community. I'm somebody who I learn best by also teaching and interacting and giving back information. It helps me to really solidify what I've just learned if I can then repeat it and then hand it back to the community. So that's been a big benefit as well.
Amazing, Nick. Amazing. And again, like as I mentioned, you've been one that truly has rose up as a leader within the group. And
Yeah.
you also learn so much more when you're teaching, like from somebody
Yeah.
who is like, I've totally like saved my business. And in doing that, of course, I want to be like, oh my God, I got to share this stuff that I'm learning so I can help other struggling
Yeah.
photographers, like, so
Well, it's
it's
it's muscle memory, it drives it home and it really anchors it when it's not just a theoretical skill or theoretical knowledge at that point. You've used it, and so it sticks with you.
So what were some of your first breakthroughs? Just the end of that question. When you first started, I guess started with my coaching, because your breakthroughs would have come through in my coaching, right? Like that's where you first
Yeah.
would have started to have
Yep.
some great breakthroughs.
Hmm. One thing that was so as I said, I've been shooting since about 1997 or 8, right? And so I've got terabytes full of material, right? I have an extensive portfolio, but not all of it is applicable to what I do. So, your help in figuring out how to really curate my portfolio for my audience, and what that audience is, that was really the first breakthrough, I think. And then from there, there's been a lot of you've given me a lot of help with how to tailor my message, my value proposition, how to define who my ideal clients are, and then ultimately how to then make new work that speaks directly to those people. And so I've been able to do that, then jumping into the accelerator, I think for me has really, the first two modules in the group classes have really helped me to, um, I think, even further refine not just who I am today as a photographer, but maybe who I want to be in a few more years.
Oops, I was muted there for a second. I'm sorry. What I'd like to talk about now, Nick, is
Mhm.
what measurable improvements have you seen in your business? Like, have you noticed an increase in clients? Have you noticed an increase in revenue? Has there been repeat business? I know we're still within like
Yeah.
a short, but what's changed? Tell me that.
Yeah, so I definitely have obtained a couple of regular clients, and my work is mostly, I'm not what you would consider a retail photographer. I don't deal direct to consumer mostly. I'm mostly shooting editorial, commercial portraits and fashion and things like that. So I have secured some repeat business with salons and barbershops and things like that, and so that's definitely has come from this. I probably would not have achieved that this early on without your program. I think a lot of people try to network and stuff, but I think I would probably be not actually reaching those connections had I not really kind of refined my tactics there. Let's see what other measurables.
Well, you had a great
So
win, like a week ago with these athletes in the barbershop. We can get into that in a second.
Yeah, definitely. But like I've never been a web designer, and so your help with my approaches to SEO and getting my website found and everything, I've definitely increased my clicks. Also, my social media following has grown by about 25% since I started following your tactics there as well. So
amazing.
Good.
Good. So Nick, I want to look at some work because I think it's important to really show where you started when you found me and what your work looked like when you found me. Now, I'm looking at your portfolio that you shared with me today in order. Is that the way that you want me to look at it, right? In order?
It's pretty random. Yeah, but yeah,
you can
and that's kind of another thing.
You can talk to me.
I can tell you what's old.
You can talk us through what we're looking at here. Can you talk me through what we're looking at right now?
Man, I'm not watching the stream. Yeah,
Open
sure.
your portfolio folder, Nick, and you'll find just what you showed me. We're looking at picture 1.
Okay, let me go to it here.
By the way, if you're watching us live, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm Carty. If you've never seen me before, I'm kind of obsessed over helping photographers get to the next level. I've been doing professional photography for 33 years. 34, actually. It's 2024, 34 years. I started in 1990 professionally. So I've been coaching photographers here, helping them get to the next level. On my YouTube channel, I started a coaching business. It's called the Carty Method. I've systemized how to get you from where you are right now to a full-time professional photographer. I systemized it. So Nick is in 2 of my programs. He has one-on-one time with me, and he's in my professional photographer's accelerator. There's a wait list to get into my accelerator. It opens again in January. All you need to do is go to thecartymethod.com and go to my accelerator and join. I also have all kinds of cool digital products and all kinds of ways that I can help you, as well as photo reviews and all that stuff. Go to thecartymethod.com. Okay, Nick, you are looking at frame number 1. Talk to me about where your mindset was here when you first started.
So this is actually fairly new. This is maybe a few months old here after I've connected with you, and I've always been a huge fan of the classics, Avedon and Pen and stuff like that, and I really like simple styling and simple lighting. This is you're looking at the girl in the white tank suit, right?
Tank suit, black and white.
Yep.
It's very clean, elegant.
Yep.
She's looking off camera. I mean, it's just a simple execution.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many here. I mean, there's 25 here. I just want to touch on when this image was and where your headspace was.
Yeah, sure. This was about May, and I think after I'd been with you for about a month or so, and I feel like prior to that, I maybe was overstyling things a bit. So my head here was kind of just to dial things back and reconnect with the roots.
Nice. Now, can you just touch on overstyling for a second? What that means? What that means? What does overstyling mean?
Sink at an image.
So basically, what you're saying is too much of everything. Too much of everything.
Too much of everything, and enough to where maybe any one individual concept gets lost. Right.
Got it. So okay, so let's talk about what's our next question. Oh yeah, our next image. Let's look at our next image, Nick. here as we're going. Where's my cursor? There we go. There we go. Let's
This is
put this right.
this is old.
So this next image is old. So let's talk about this. I mean,
This is
again,
a
you
bit
had
of
you have
a
a beautiful
origin
sensibility
story.
here, though. Like the light is right, the exposure's right. I mean, where her eyes are looking, as far as tracking her nose, like this is the foundations of me knowing that you have something. You know, like from my
Yeah.
perspective, this is the foundations of me knowing that you have something. Do you want to talk a little bit through when this picture was, where your headspace was, and how long before you found me, you shot this?
Oh, yeah, this was probably what, 2006, I think. I mean, this is old. This is old. And this was, I think, representative of kind of what I felt I was trying to um shoot to fit in with kind of the Northwest kind of vibe, right? It's very back then anyway, it was very clean lifestyle, not so much avant-garde high fashion, but um a much more commercial look. And I think this was a test that was when this girl was signing with she was working on signing with a local Portland-based agency. So she's still modeling today. We actually still shoot a little bit, but um, where was my head at with this? Yeah, just this was a just kind of representative of where my portfolio was back then when I was kind of a noob.
So, again, Nick, I still think that it has a great sensibility. Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about this picture. The next photo, the girl with the nose ring
Mm.
and
Yeah.
the offset.
Yeah. So I just love faces. It's always been all about the face for me, regardless of how stylized or how sexy or provocative a photo tries to be. It's all about the eye contact, the face, the expression. If that's not real, then the rest of it doesn't matter. And I'm a big fan of the contrast with light and shadow, um, interesting shadows, shape, and this was I can't remember. We shot this for I can't remember which magazine, but we submitted this to a story with this to a magazine, and this was successfully ran as a double page spread, right? So the offset here is quite important. Um, and that's something you drill home all the time, and I hear that in my head every time I shoot now. So
Amazing.
this
So
was
is
about a year. This was about a year ago,
a year ago. So
probably just before I found.
just before, because I
Yep.
know that your work has changed so much. So
Yep.
um, I I knew that this was before you met me because of still there's some like framing things and the
Right.
treatment and but again,
Mm.
it's part of that core where I say this guy can shoot. So it's like one like I can pull talent. Like even if you're doing the wrong things, even if you're making mistakes, like there's like this core talent that I and it this is the way that I describe it. It's like this. We have this like core ball of talent that it's like here, you know. Now we it's packed, and the tighter packed it gets, like you can apply that style to anything that you shoot. But too many photographers play style of the month club, which is they're shooting this because it's trending, and then they're shooting that because it's trending, and they're not even they're buying that guy's presets, and then guy buying that guy's and then when you look at the work together, it looks like it's 75 different photographers. It really does.
Right.
So this is where I try to train my shooters to remove treatment because I want to say remove your crutches, remove your
Right.
trickery, remove your magic that you're putting on to make a shit photo seem good. And you really seemed to like register that, and it clicked, and it's like the new work is so simple, it's so clean, it's classic, it's timeless, and it has staying power. So incredibly powerful. So let me ask you another question while we're getting into some more work.
Mhm.
My next question, I mean, it's all about your portfolio evolving during this accelerator. I mean, again, we're about to start phase 2 of 6 phases, and this is the transformation that you're experiencing after. How has your portfolio, like the way that you shoot, how has that
Mhm.
evolved? How has that developed? Can you talk about a specific shoot that represents that transformation? And did you share it with me? Should we look at your most
Yeah.
recent portraits to talk about that?
Let's go
Give
go
me the
ahead a
file
little
number.
bit.
I'll jump
Yeah,
up.
sure. Let's start with 9.
Start with file number 9. Okay. So, number 9. And again, I want to go back to that old work because there's some
Mhm.
real evolutions that we went into. This is file number 9. Nick, let's talk about who's this photographer. Can we talk? I want to hear everything about
Yeah.
who, why, what, how. I want to know everything. Technically, Nick, this is a ripper. Such a high quality photo, Nick. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so this came about through a barbershop that I shoot for, that has some pretty cool clients. This guy is the starting quarterback for the local the U of O Ducks football team, and we got to we got some access to these guys through um, through the barbershop, and was invited to go along to the stadium um, to shoot while just after they got their haircuts ahead of the game. And so I got to make some portraits of several players and coaches and such. And um, I shot some close-ups, faces and stuff for me, but we shot some overall pictures of the hairstyles and the cuts and stuff for the barbershop to feature in their ads and everything. But this was had to nail this out of the gate. I had about 90 seconds with each of these folks after the haircut, and really needed to make it no bullshit. I couldn't get fancy with the lighting, couldn't have weird poses or anything like that. Just really got to make an impression. And you're absolutely right. Like, you have to kind of cut away all the crutches, right? And so just went in there with a big but fairly simple setup, and um, kept those compositional rules in my head, and got that um, eye contact with the camera, and yeah. Mhm. Mm. Yeah.
Unmuted. Nick, this is so brilliant. When you emailed me these photos, I I actually was slamming the table. I actually was slamming the table when I got this email because, again, I walked you through the whole thing. Like, this is the thing that's amazing when you're in my coaching program and you find yourself in a situation where you have an absolute insane opportunity. I walked you through this. Like, we jammed on the telephone and we talked about this project, and that it was the day before. I got you right set in the right mindset as far as how to approach it, how much time likely you were going to have, how to really set up beforehand, like over set up, have people standing in, make sure you have an assistant, like all of this stuff that like, and the way that you talked back to me after that session, you were like, Carty, I think I crushed it. Like you were so confident, and it was really nice to hear you on that high. Cause again, you're very, I don't want to say, understated, but you see my energy. Like I'm very enthusiastic.
Right.
And I think that as a photographer, like it's super important to just like turn up your frequency, like just a little bit. Don't be like the quiet observant, be the extroverted person and be engaging with every single person. And you really like epitomized that for this session. And when you started to send me files, I was just losing my marbles, Nick. So I'm invested. Like anybody who watches, like, this isn't fake. Like I'm actually invested. And when I see you succeed, when I see somebody who is in my program, it like the way I call it, it's a switch. It's like the switch just goes off, click, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this photographer, he just turned on. Like you can see they like my systems, my methodology, like it just clicks, and then it's like, okay, there's no stopping that photographer now. So that's you, Nick.
Well, I
like,
think that's important. I think that's important to recognize that systems are important, right? Because people can follow systems, right? If you're just randomly, trying this, trying that, throwing darts, some of them stick, some of them don't. But when
systems.
that's something that I take to heart, is that when you systematize things, right? When you actually lay the foundation properly, you actually set the stage for improvisation, right? When you're playing music, you got the chord changes.
Oh yeah,
this is jazz. Over the top of it.
This is jazz.
You can't do that without the structure.
Yeah, exactly. This is jazz. Like I mean, I create the structure, and this is exactly what you have to do. Like you have to understand how many shooters are like, this is so much work. This is so much work. It's like you never knew what to do before. You never knew what to do before. There's like 1,000 things that you could have been doing this whole time, and you didn't know what to do before. So now I'm putting forward what you need to do. And it's like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming. It's like, yeah, that's why 85% of the people who start this business fail in the first year, because they don't know what they need to be doing. Once someone sets that out for you as a roadmap, like literally step 1, step 2, step 3, like I roadmap, like my last round of the Accelerator, I didn't roadmap it the same way. I just gave information, and it ended up being overwhelming. Now, oh no, no. It's roadmap, community, groups. So you're working in groups, and everybody is like rising up together in like these small groups. Then weekly coaching, weekly cohorts, like where we're on Zoom together and working through the problems. And then assessment, where it's like, did you do everything that you had to do on those steps? Here's your checklist. Did you do this? Yes, no. Did you do this? Yes, no. Did you do this? Yes, no. And so I'm actually making sure that because if you don't do the work, this is Harvard. If you don't do the work, like we're building a house. How can you put the roof on if you don't even have bricks laid for a foundation? Like, and so many photographers are hanging a roof and they have no business, and they're trying to make it pretty, but it's like, you have no business. Like, you have not transacted any money. No one has, like, you don't make valuable pictures. Nobody wants them. And you're here trying to make your house pretty. So, Nick, it's really great because you really have made this thing. How's your confidence? This is a great question. How's your confidence? How has your confidence improved? confidence in your photography,
Oh,
confidence in your business decisions. How has that evolved since joining this accelerator, Nick Johnson?
oh, it's night and day. It's absolutely night and day, because just seeing through the fog, gives you uh, the right structure for communicating and all of that. The confidence comes along with it. Absolutely. Um, Much easier to make decisions about what's right or what may not benefit my business. Um, I think that something that a lot of photographers struggle with is they're so eager to create, and so they take opportunities, or they make work that may not fit properly within their niche, and you got to know when to say no. And so um, confidence in being able to say, yeah, no, I don't need to do that, or I don't need to do that unless there's good money in it, is a big thing that's come along since then, for sure.
Amazing. And for me, the way that I like to describe it is I don't shoot weddings. Okay, I don't. I just won't.
Yeah.
But I do have a cap. I do have a price tag. I do have a price tag. If you need
Mhm.
me to shoot your wedding, my price tag is $25,000. Simple.
Mhm.
It keeps it so people don't book me for weddings. But every once in a while, guess what happens? Someone's like, okay. And then I shoot a wedding. But I also make
There are
25K.
those that
You
you've
know what
built
I
a
mean?
relationship with that just want you, right?
Yeah,
And
and they don't want a wedding photographer. They want
that's
Carty. They don't want a wedding photographer.
right.
They want me. They want an editorial feeling. They want my vibe. So once every 5 years or whatever, that happens. So, Nick, I have such bliss today, man, and I'm so proud of you because you really do the work, and because you do the work, you look like a superstar to other people who don't necessarily do the work as effectively, as quickly, or actually at all. So because of that, you end up looking like a golden boy. Now, we've only been through a couple of phases with this accelerator, but what phase or what exercise in any of my programs, including my one-on-one coaching, has made the biggest impact on your progress? And how did it
Mm.
change the way that you approach your photography business? Like, what was the one phase, the one part of my training that has actually made the biggest impact in with your progress? That's my question for you, Nick.
Man, it comes early in your program, and that's what I'd like to say, that, like, you don't in an accelerator, you're not waiting for month 6 to start seeing value from this, right? And that's immediately out of the gate. You're teaching people to imagine solutions to your ideal client's potential problems, right? And how to connect your services and your value to their needs. And that's been the biggest exercise that has helped me, I think.
You basically, I'm going to try to I'm going to reframe that. You're
Yeah.
saying you're trying to, the biggest value that you've got is value, which is essentially you're trying to bring value to your customer, to your client, and in
Hmm.
exchange for that value, you get money. Like
Hmm.
that is
Hmm.
the biggest thing that registered for you.
And shifting the mindset towards, like, how do you pre-visualize and imagine what that value could be, rather than just, well, I make pictures. I mean, even beyond the scope of moving from taking pictures to making pictures, right? Everybody can make all the pictures in the world and put them out there, but if you don't connect that to a need, then there's no exchange of value in that process. So um, having having some insight into how to anticipate what your potential clients will need from you is um, gold.
Amazing. Well said. Well said. So, um, can you share an example of how you're now able to confidently market yourself?
No. Um, yeah, I mean, it's it's gone from just dangling a fishing lure in the water, having a website and hoping people see it, to some direct outreach, studying people that I want to work for, making work that fits um, uh, their vibe, what they're already doing, or a slight shift from it, and then reaching out to them and um, offering something of value first, right? And then information or a compliment, or just connecting with the fact that I know what they're doing, or I see their vibe, and here's how I can help you. Let's chat, right? That it's been um, night and day difference in the response ratio, the tone of that response. I've reconnected with most of the modeling agencies that I used to shoot for way back in the day. Whereas over the last few years, it's been, crickets, right? When you just reach out with hey, I want to test some models. No, they don't need you at that point. They've got plenty of people willing to do that. But when you come to them with with an idea, with a crew, with with a plan, and then it's no barrier. Yeah, what do you need? What do you need from us? Cool. Yep. Go do your thing. That's
Yeah,
a very different conversation.
amazing. So, how's your organization right now, Nick? What systems or processes have you now that you now have in place since you started hanging out with the Carty Method community and my programs?
Yeah. I've changed some of I've had tools that I've used in the past. I've found some new ones that I like better, that you've pointed out. I've started collecting testimonials through Senja. I used to just use Google Links and stuff before. I've developed some better client onboarding workflows and such. Having all the questions answered before I get on the phone with somebody to discuss a project, versus every one of those conversations being a one-off. Creating systems around everything has really been helpful. And then the way I book appointments, schedule Zoom consults, things like that, just as kind of an automated workflow. Using automation wherever possible has been just I get my life back.
Amazing. So yeah, this is I always recommend tools. Collecting testimonials. We use Senja. There's a way that you can pre-qualify people before you even get to talk to them. Before they even get to talk to you, you pre-qualify them using a scorecard. Hey, get them to answer some questions and see if we're the right fit for working together. So I use Score app for that. The links for this stuff is in the video description. And so I just create, and then Calendly. When someone finally gets to the point where they're ready to book you, they just go to your Calendly. They can see your calendar. They can put themselves in there. I mean, they don't see what you're doing, but they see that you're booked. They get to put themselves in there, and then it just shows up in your calendar with the Zoom link and the self-booking. Like I've tried to create automation in a way for photographers that, and I take this from other businesses. Like I take this from other businesses that are working, and I package this all together to create just the ultimate photographer's system. So I'm glad that you're using them, and the shit works, which is great. So before my Accelerator, you were really struggling with making this business of yours work. Have you overcome that mindset? Have you like, although we're not finished, do you feel like you
finished.
will have the tools and strategies from what we're doing to give you your next 20 years of freedom, Nick?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, totally. The mindset shift has been just the ultimate tool, right? That's a no-brainer. Yeah.
So can you talk about, I want one, you've given me so much, Nick, thank you. But I want one specific mindset shift that like, and you've given me a couple, but
Mhm.
there's make pictures, don't take pictures. There's
Yeah.
the systems. There's just the fact that we're trying to create a
Well, I think,
flywheel. Like, so one, two,
yeah.
three, four, five, and then back to six. It's like, well, six, no. There's actually only five. There's like my six systems are only five, but the first one is getting started. So that's like, that
Yeah.
gets the like flywheel going. And then you're going through these
Mhm.
five phases, and that just keeps your business going. It's like an engine. And if your business stops working, you're not doing one of these five things, and it's stuck, and it's like a piston in an engine, and your business doesn't work if a piston's stuck. So it took me 3 decades to figure this out, but now I have it on lock, and I can teach people, which is, and I can look at your business and be like, this is your stuck piston. This is what we have to focus on. Let's lubricate that, and we're rocking. So
Yeah.
I got a couple more questions here,
100%.
Nick.
So I think that,
Go ahead.
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Oh, I
No.
was just going to say that I think the biggest takeaway from that is that, just like you say, make pictures, don't take pictures. Success in all of this takes deliberate action, right? You can't just put out pretty work and hope people see it and hire you. You have to. It takes taking some control of your business and um, your whole packaging. And you're right, like, it's a never ending process. You'll have to constantly reevaluate and circle back and adjust and do it again and do it again and do it again. And that's what I think was lacking for me, and what you're absolutely pounding into me. So
Amazing, dude. Amazing. So, what? Let's get into. I want to talk about this amazing recent achievement, which is this barbershop. Okay, that connection, how you honed that and nurtured that and massaged that into what will end up being like $50,000 a year for you. Like, I feel like that is like what, like, talk about how you developed that. Do you feel like that would have been possible before our connection and us working on your business together? I want to hear everything
oh, I
about
think
that. I just want to just talk about that, Nick.
Yeah, I think before, I've done collaborations and stuff like this in the past, but it's always just been, asking people if they want to work together and things like that. This has been very different in that, I've um been in communication with this shop for quite some time, and the breadcrumbs, right? Always adding a little bit of value and offering some things here and there, some things that help with their business, and ultimately it got me brought into, like you said, a really great opportunity. And I don't think it would have materialized so quickly, um or so emphatic, like having such an emphatic yes, let's do this, let's go make this project happen, without the steps that I followed, having learned this system, right?
You actually, what you did was this is a long game. It's a long game.
Right,
And
exactly.
you realize people don't make snap decisions on big purchases. Okay? If someone's going to buy a Lambo, they first need to be aware that a Lambo exists, right? Do you think as soon as
Mhm.
someone sees, oh, Lambo, and they go and they mortgage their life and buy a Lamborghini? It doesn't happen. So,
Mhm.
what we have to do is we first start with awareness. And then as we continue to put work out there, it starts to get into a place where people start to like us. After a while, people start to prefer us. After a
Mhm.
while, people start to like, they haven't even used us yet, and they're recommending us to other people because they're like, one day I'm going to be able to afford Nick Johnson. So what you did was you did the Ferrari purchase where you made them aware, you made them like you made them prefer you, and then you made them like evangelists. And now they're actually like, this is our guy. Like, this is our
Right.
guy. And like, photography is not an impulse purchase, okay? People need 7 hours. I want you to really register this. People need 7 hours and 11 different touch points with you before they trust you enough to buy. 7 hours. Okay, 7 hours. 11 different touch points. Do you know how long it takes to do that with a single frame at a time? A photograph that someone looks at for 3 seconds? It takes 20 years to develop 7 hours and 11 different touch points when you're doing it with a still photo. Why am I holding your attention right now? Like you at home watching me video. How long have you been watching me for? So I create trust because I do live podcasts. Do you understand how hard it is to be fake when you're doing something live? Do you understand how hard it is to be inauthentic, non-genuine, ungenuine, non-genuine? Like, it's really difficult to be inauthentic when you're live. So this is a quick way for me to get my 7 hours and 11 different touch points with you, so you trust me enough to help you with your photography career. This is why YouTube's so important. So, 7 hours, 11 different touch points. So, if you were to compare your photography business right now today to where it was 1 year ago, what are the 3 biggest improvements that you've seen in terms of growth, professionalism, and overall likelihood of success? I'll take it again. If you were to compare your photography business now to where it was last year at this exact time, last August, what are the 3 biggest improvements that you've seen in terms of growth, professionalism, and overall likelihood of success?
Yeah. So growth, I think all of these answers start with the same thing. And that is that, a year ago, while photography has always been a lifelong pursuit of mine, everything, a year ago, I would say photography was just something that I did, right? So it was another thing. And also, it's transformed into, now it is who I am. It is my main pursuit, my main passion. So that's number one. Professionalism, it goes beyond just treating people well. I've always, that's been my, core of who I am as a photographer forever. Treat people well, do what you say you do. But it's also just making the overall experience easy for that person to engage and to want more, right? Making that the onboarding experience, the delivery experience afterwards, the communication all around it, that has leveled up immensely. And then chances for success, I mean, there is no chance for failure at this point. Failure is not an option, right? So full speed ahead. And a year ago, that was a pipe dream. It was a wish, and now it's a reality. So that's it.
Amazing, Nick. It's your confidence and just seeing how you roll is a good way to say it. Like, seeing how you roll, like you're sure. Like, some people hope, some people believe, you just know. You know what I mean? And like that's the place that we have to get to as photographers. It's like, not like, oh no. I hope I make it. It's like, no. It's not. It's like, no, I'm doing this, and there is not a question in my mind. Like, it's like, I'm undeniable. So my success is guaranteed. The man upstairs has got me. So you just have to do the work. And when you're doing the work, before you know what work to do, you're doing the wrong work and you're just wasting time. But all work works. It's working on you. But once you learn how to do the right work, then that work works on you first, because you'll realize it hurts when you do the wrong work for 5 years. For 10 years, you do the wrong work, and then someone shows you the right work. It physically makes you want to vomit. It's like, I'm a effing idiot, is what you feel when someone shows you the right work. But then it hurts to change course. It hurts to change course because you've always done this, because you've been doing it for so long. It hasn't been working, but it's what you do. It's what you do. But it hasn't been working, but it's what you do. So it takes a long time for someone to help you shift course. And when that course is shifted, for it to not correct back. A great example, weight loss. You're so excited to lose weight for your wedding day. And then you lose all that weight, and then you get married and you fit into your suit. And then as soon as you get married, you're like, whew, hit that finish line. And then you start jamming beers down your face and eating pizza 24 hours a day. And now, not only do you not fit in your suit, you don't fit in your house. And then your wife leaves you. And it's because you didn't have a lifelong goal of, I want to be healthy for life. You just wanted to get to that one finish line. You made it, and then you went back to your old shit. So it's just basically like stopping at the beach and then going back in the ship and doing what you were doing. So I'm trying to correct course, and it takes time. It really does take time, but it is worth it on a level that you can't even comprehend. Okay.
You know, one of my favorite quotes, I don't even remember where it came from, but you know, it's so easy as photographers, and we love what we do, you know, and everybody gets emotionally attached to their pictures, right? You know, they made something that they're proud of, and you got to remember that sometimes, you know, what got you here won't get you there. I don't even know where I heard that quote, but that's the truth, right? So
what got you here won't get you there.
Won't get you there. And so you got to be constantly refining and pursuing perfection, even though it doesn't exist, right? And I think that's a core thing that I've taken away from your program is that you know, yeah, you've done some stuff, but you can shift up another gear, right? So
amazing, Nick. So well said. Like, so you feel good about your decision investing in what I've been doing with you here, Nick, at the Carty Method? Looking back, do you feel 100%. Like your decision to invest in yourself, to pay for my coaching, to join my accelerator, what advice would you give that viewer right now who might be on the fence and not sure if the Carty Method is legit or I'm talking out of my ass?
Oh, it's absolutely legit. I mean, it's proven principles that work in coaching and everything of all kinds. And you're talking to somebody who's done what he's teaching you to do. So, I mean, it's 100% effective and worth it. The only thing I would say is that if you're not, like you've said, if you're not willing to do the work, you know, if you want to just absorb information, then hope it works for you, it's not gonna work. You have to engage. You have to do the work. And it's not impossible. I mean, it's taken me 3 months, right? What we got together in April, middle of April, right? And so really about 30 days ago is when it really started, you know, just kicking in. So, and it's not a straight line, and you'll have moments where you have those realizations of, oh man, I've got to redo everything I've done up to this point is just isn't going to work, and you have to shift. And but it's worth it. The payoff is that you get to do what you love, right? We all love photography. We all love having that creative life, and we don't want to go back to working a 9 to 5. And this is the way to do it.
Please make the clip. That was well said, Nick. Well said. So, what advice would you give somebody who's just starting their photography journey? They're just starting their photography journey. I mean, personally, I like to say, if you're just starting your photography journey, Yeah, you might not be ready for me. I'm a psychopath. Like
Right.
I'm literally a
Right.
psycho. Like I've been doing this for 33 years. The stuff that I'm talking about, I'm like we're talking like deep business training, you know? So if you were
Yeah.
just starting at photography, like what would advice would you give somebody? I mean, I'm trying to also create some beginner programs because so many people have expressed to me like I'm not quite ready for you, but I wish you had some beginner content so I could learn, so I could elevate to the point where I am ready for your more professional content. What advice would you give somebody who is new to photography and has just discovered my channel and has just started watching?
I would say learn your craft. You know, photography is both an art and a craft. Um, Learn as much of a technical foundation as you can so that when you're asked to execute something specific, you have the foundation to do so. I would also say get off the internet and stop using Instagram as your main source of inspiration. Look at work that inspires you, that has achieved the goals that you aspire to. You know, don't get tricked into ooh and ah over shiny things, right? Um, there are standards for excellent work. There's good, and then there's excellent. Absorb the things that that have stood the test of time, and then when you're ready to start putting those things together, then you're probably ready for somebody like Carty to help you connect those dots. And then once you've started to connect those dots, then you're ready to make a business and a lifestyle around it. And you know, it all dovetails together.
Well said, Nick. Well said. I mean, you've been a clip factory today, my guy. Any last words that you want
This is my
to
second cup.
talk on? I mean, honestly, we've covered Nick and his absolute incredible transformation. But before we go, I just want to talk about what the Carty Method is, just for a second. The Carty Method is a 6-phase system that takes you from setting your stage to your work and your market, your packaging, the business of photography, the value business of photography, the systems of making money, the systems for everything, outward reach, and lastly, putting this whole thing together and how you realize that it's a flywheel. So it's designed to help creative people turn this passion that they have for photography into a viable business. It's very possible if you have talent and if you do the work. Obviously, I help you define your niche, but you have to understand, and Nick, you've defined it so well. I'm looking for the right type of shooters. You would agree that you have to be the right type of shooter for me, with the right attitude and the right drive to take their career to the next level, like Nick. And if you are that kind of person, go to thecartymethod.com, sign up. Like, you just need to register yourself and show interest, and also do the professional photographer's readiness scorecard. See how ready you are today to be a pro, and book me for a free consultation. I provide free, valuable content right here multiple times per week on YouTube, tailored specifically for emerging and struggling pros. If you're obsessed about becoming a professional photographer, make sure that you're subscribed. Please subscribe to this channel. It's all I talk about, and stay locked in. If this video today, if talking with me and Nick and watching me and Nick have this conversation today has brought you value, hit the like button, please. It helps me more than you can possibly know. And if you're looking for more content that will help you grow your photography career, stay right here. Follow my A Life Behind the Camera blog, and give a special thanks to Nick Johnson for giving us some of his time today. Nick Johnson, baby, let's go. Nick, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Honestly, like I think it's more important for me to really highlight the people who are in my program more. I have an Instagram account called the Carty Method, which showcases viewers like Nick, their work. I have photo submissions that happen every Thursday where I give a very tight brief, the same way that a photo editor would give you a brief for a photo, and you do the assignment. You shoot it that week, and then you deliver it on a deadline, and then I review it just like a photo editor. And I choose photos of the week, which you get a photo of the week seal, which you can use for your social media. And as well, we have Behind the Picture magazine, which we are turning into, we're evolving our blogs. I'm taking 2 Substacks, smashing them together, and I'm going to be putting out daily content on Substack. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely subscribe to my Substack. This is the Carty Method. This is what we do. I obsess over helping you get to the next level with your photography. This has been Nick Johnson here, who is one of my prize fighter students. And this has been the Carty Method. I hope it brought you value.
This commercial-free live stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to fill up these live streams with ads that would just interrupt the flow. The members of this channel make commercial-free content during these live streams possible. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month today to gain access to secret live streams, live chats, and to show your support with that crown badge next to your name. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert, even if the content you're sharing isn't yours. Be a curator and share this content with your network. If you're an emerging or struggling photographer that's trying to break free from your current 9-to-5 grind and transition to the life of a working pro photographer, that's our obsession here at the Carty Method. Register, get the support you need. If you're alone and struggling at this craft, make sure you join the Carty Method community. You'll always find help in the show notes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.